Okay, for the sake of anybody who might listen to this in the future, watch it in the future, we're getting ready for a first grade math lesson, which we've already planned out. Yesterday during seminar, we talked about some discussion techniques, I guess we could call them, because that's kind of one of our goals for this placement is to support student discussion. So we talked about the beach ball technique. How do you see that maybe playing out in your lesson today? Any opportunities for beach ball discussion?
After students solve one or two of the problems, I'm going to have them come back to the carpet and have a few students share different strategies and maybe ask like, what was different about your strategy than what so-and-so did, and just kind of see how it builds from there.
Okay, because that might be a question that several students could respond to, so you won't have to be like back and forth between just you. And then the next thing we talked about was pacing.
Mm-hmm.
What stood out to you from that little pacing excerpt? Meredith, that you remember when we talked about wait time?
Yeah.
Wait time.
Wow, feels like forever ago.
I know, it was a big day yesterday.
Okay, I was noticing, I taught most of the morning and everything, but whenever my mentor teacher was teaching, we have a clock that also counts the seconds, and so I was like counting how many seconds she waited,
Wow.
and she waits like 15 seconds. She
Really?
waits so long. So I think that, I mean, I see it a lot in kindergarten, and I feel like it's probably similar in first grade because they're thinking, like, they have to process their thinking a lot, so. Definitely, and it's not as awkward as like I thought it would feel too. So I know that it is really helpful for our students to like have that time to process, and they do come to the answer. It's just getting in the habit of not thinking the answer.
I'm so glad you thought about timing it.
Yeah.
I never would have thought it would be 15 seconds.
It was so long.
But that makes sense because we have a lot of English language learners, and so sometimes they have to like hear the question in English, and especially the kindergartners who a lot of them haven't had as much English.
Right.
They have to really kind of translate it in their head and think of their answer and then translate their answer, and that's not instantaneous.
And again, like those students who, I told you, like our students don't wait as long as Mrs. Williams does. Like they are eager to answer when other students, they can't like stand the wait time, but like that is showing that they're thinking too, like they're answering the question that we're just waiting on the student to answer, so that's cool.
Do you have a lot of English learners in your class?
I would say 9 or 10, I think.
Out of
23.
So nearly half the class.
Yeah.
So that wait time is going to be really important. And don't rush on our account. We'll be patient too.
Okay.
Then we talked about partner talk just to get every voice in the room, and there's more than one place in the lesson where there's partner talk, right?
I think in the beginning we're going to talk about what it means to have a group of something.
Okay.
So have them turn and talk, discuss for a minute or two, and have them share out. And then at the end, they're going to turn and talk to their partner, talk about what they learned.
Nice. So what helps partner talk go smoothly with your group of kids?
Giving them a specific question and then usually counting down to bring them back usually focuses them. So.
Keeping it pretty short probably too, depending on the question.
Like a minute to a minute and a half.
Yeah. And then I know you just got this list of questions. Most of them are the ones we came up with when we were brainstorming the other day. When you look at the wall solving, and this would be when you're going around conferring with kids individually probably. Is there a question on there that seems like it might be helpful?
I think what do you know in this problem is helpful. Just figuring out like where the numbers go, what you need to do with those numbers is important for some of the kids who may not get it right away.
Yeah.
And so just reminding them of what they already have and what they need to figure out.
So I was gonna turn this on, which I didn't. So say that question again, just to get it in your head. The question that you liked.
What do you know in this problem?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be a really good support because you're going around from kid to kid. And then on the back, after they're solving, I think there was one you already said that you really liked on the back.
If they haven't shown all their work, what did you do first? Or even if they have shown all their work.
Because you can't really tell
Yeah,
the
I know.
sequence just from looking at it.
And then how is your strategy different than
Yeah.
someone else's
Yeah.
strategy?
So those would be some good questions to kind of have at the tip of your tongue. All right, we got this. Well, here is the lesson plan, which you probably already have a copy of, but here's one for you to look at just while we're talking in here with the problem on it. And I don't know that we need to look at this planning template because we kind of moved beyond that, but just for yourself,
Okay.
there's, I typed up our notes from the planning. And then, remember how Miss Green gave us this, well, she gave it to us digitally, but here's a copy of the open strategy sharing. Let's talk through that real quickly. Remind me what time we're gonna start teaching this lesson?
8:45.
Oh, we've got plenty of time, but I'm gonna set an alarm so we have time to get it, so you have time to get in there and kind of get settled.
Okay. And it's till 9:25. Is it okay if I
Whenever,
go
it's
5
till
minutes
whenever
over?
you're
Okay.
done,
Okay.
okay? Or whenever the kids need to go do something else, however that works into your schedule. All right. So the problem proposed, we have that on here. I don't know that we need to recopy it, but maybe just, I'm gonna put a note to myself about cookies in each box. I bet I've got one. If not,
Really thinking ahead.
if not, it's not that critical. You can do it in your brain. Aha.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And total number of cookies. Cookies in each box and total number of cookies. Okay, why did you choose that problem?
It was chosen based on students' interest. They love talking about food, they love doing math problems with food, so, and it's something that's concrete, so they can easily get an image in their head of cookies in a box.
Yeah. And what about the number sets that you chose?
The first one was chosen because of the schema activation, so they'll be getting in different numbered groups, and so one of them is groups of 5, and so I'm seeing if they can transfer that to the first problem,
Okay.
3 groups of 5. The second one was chosen because they know how to count by tens, and so I'm gonna see if they need to draw it or if they can just do it mentally and do tens. And the third one's kind of a challenge problem.
Yeah.
Then I have an additional challenge problem for students who just fly through these. It's not on the back, but I have it
In your
in
hand.
my head. I'm just gonna write
Ready?
it down.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You really have a good rationale for why you chose those numbers. So I think it's really gonna be helpful for students the way you sequence them. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, opening the lesson. What's the schema activation?
I'm first going to state the goal. I can count groups of numbers and then have them talk about what it means to have a group of something. Have them think of any ideas, what are some examples of groups that we use every day. And so I'm thinking of specifically our reading groups and their tables are groups. So I'm going to see if they come up with that or what else they can come up with. And then I'm going to have them explain that we're going to be working with groups of numbers today, but first we're going to practice making groups with each other. So I'm going to say everyone stand up, get in groups of 3.
Right, okay.
And then count how many groups of food we have, and let's see how many we have in all. And so we have depending on how many students are in there today, I'll have some outliers that
Yeah.
can stay with me.
Okay.
And then getting groups of 6, groups of 4, and groups of 5.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, once they've got their paper, how do you anticipate they might solve the problem? What are some different ways?
I have some that will do a standard algorithm. They'll put 3 times 5, or 3 groups of 5 equals 15. I have some that are already there.
How will they show that, do you think?
They'll put 3, they know the
They know the X?
Mhm.
Wow.
They know it means
Okay.
groups of.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Um,
surprised by that.
Oh, I had a student in kindergarten multiplying with it this week.
And did,
Like wrote 3 times 5 equals
Really?
15. Like, no.
whoa.
Yeah, it's impressive. It's
That
great.
is impressive.
I know
Love it.
some will draw either circles or squares and draw each individual cookie in them. And I saw some students the other day doing, like, if there's 3 groups of 5, they'll write 5, 5, and 5.
Wow,
And
so,
then add 2 of them together and add that third one. and get that
yeah,
number.
so you're just using
Repeated
numbers to,
addition, yeah.
for repeated addition.
Mm-hmm. We'll see what else they come up with. I'm
Yeah.
not sure those are the only ones I can predict.
Yeah. So this is a chart that I think Ms. Green intended that you can use it during the lesson if you want to
Mhm.
kind of keep track of who solved it and who you want to have share.
Yeah.
And the rest of this, we'll see what happens. And then closing the lesson, what's the closure?
Closure. I'm going to bring them back after they've finished solving all the problems. Have them discuss or talk about if they used a different strategy after seeing their
Mhm.
classmates share strategy. And then close by having them turn and talk about what they learned today, and then having students share some of their thoughts about the lesson.
I love that because it built in the student self-assessment piece too, which we
Mhm.
talked about how important that is. It really makes the lesson more memorable for them. It sticks the learning in their brains a little better.
Yeah.
Okay, so with lesson plan in hand, think about student activities, and then how students and teacher will respond, and then what to notice. Okay, so this is going to be for Meredith and I, what we should be noticing. So the very first thing in the lesson is what?
The students getting in groups, group activity.
Okay. How do you think kids will respond to that?
I think they'll be excited to get to move around. Might have to set some boundaries, say who need to stay in this space, because I know they like to just move all the way around the classroom, so.
And especially because it's not their typical math block.
Yeah,
Ah.
they'll be a little thrown off, but I think
Okay.
they love doing that.
Okay.
They tell me that all the time, so hopefully they'll be
Awesome.
excited.
Do you think they'll be able to form those groups pretty
I think so.
easily? Okay. So what do you think we want to be paying attention to, Meredith, while the kids are getting in groups?
Maybe like, if there's like one kid like directly like pulling kids over, you know what I mean? Or if
Yeah,
they're like
if
sorting
they're a
Ones are
leader.
themselves.
taking
Yeah.
leadership, yeah.
Like if there's a leader pulling kids in, or if
I can
there's
see some.
groups who like have fewer numbers and don't notice, or too many and don't notice.
Yeah, so accuracy.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, those are good things. Do you need this space
Yes.
right now? We'll be out in less than that. I'll move as soon as we have a good transition. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Okay. All right, let's finish this chart and then we'll move over to the room if Rudy gets available. All right, so next thing in the lesson is what? What happens after the grouping activity?
Introducing the word story problem and discussing it, make sure students understand what it's asking of them, and then students will go and solve for 3 minutes and then come back and talk about it.
Introduce the problem and then solve for 3 minutes. Okay, so when you introduce the problem, how do you think kids are gonna respond?
They'll be excited as cookies.
Excited is a common word on our sheet
Yep.
here.
I think they'll connect it to the groups of, when I say there's 3 boxes of cookies, there are 5 in each, they'll remember we talked about groups before.
So we don't remember prior learning.
I think so.
Okay, Meredith, what do you think we should be paying attention to?
Understanding.
Oh, I like that, yeah. How are we gonna know whether they're understanding?
Well, I think it's apparent when you're like introducing a problem, you can tell if students are like engaged, if they're listening, or
Okay.
I can like tell when I'm looking at my students if they're like
You can tell by they're pretty honest in their facial expressions.
So we're gonna be looking
Yeah.
at their facial
Yes.
expressions?
And kind of too, I know with my kindergartners, there are like 2 kids in particular who are really fidgety. So like making sure that they're like honing in on Carson.
Like their attention?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then while they're solving the problem, the first little bit, how do you think they'll respond?
I think a lot of them try to get to work really quickly. They're kind of eager to do it. And I have some who probably won't follow directions, and I'll say, stay at your desk for 3 minutes. I'll tell you when to come back. They'll do the first problem, and they'll come and bring it to me and show me. That happened the other day. So I'll hopefully just be very specific in my directions to make sure everyone understands the directions before they go back to their seats to work.
Okay, so you already got to like how the teacher will respond is that
Yeah.
you're gonna be very explicit.
Yeah.
Be clear about directions. What about their actual problem-solving process? Do you think that we'll see each of those 3
I think
in
we
the
will.
with the first problem?
Yes. So I have some that are very concrete, some that are moving towards more just like the standard algorithm or just knowing it mentally. And that will do like the numbers and adding them together. Then I have some that will just do 3 groups of 5 or 6.
Yeah, it seems like because you taught a lesson like this yesterday, was it?
On Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
Now you have a better idea of how kids are gonna respond to
Yeah.
it.
So I kind of pre-assessed them
Yeah.
to see. So I know like which ones I need to start pushing a little bit more.
Nice.
Yeah.
What should we be paying attention to?
Okay, clarity maybe in directions.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
I want to be noticing what strategies kids use.
Yeah.
So we'll have to kind of lean in to notice that.
Yeah. And during that time, I'll be walking around deciding which ones I want to share.
or like how many there are.
Oh yeah, how many of each?
Yeah. There may be any misconceptions.
Ah,
Yeah.
good. Can either of you think of any misconceptions that they might have?
Do they add any other?
I had some the other day that did that.
So we'll see if anybody's adding.
And there was a misconception with the multiplication symbol. I had one student who, she drew this as her multiplication symbol.
Oh,
I don't know where that came from. I said, tell me about this. Like, what does this mean?
Interesting.
She goes, it means 3 groups of 5. I go,
Wow.
normally we write it like, this means groups of.
Interesting.
She's like, oh, I just forgot how to write it.
Oh my gosh.
She was
So,
creative.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
super
where did that
creative.
come from?
Okay, then you pull them back together.
For the first discussion before they finish solving all of the problems. I'm gonna have 3 students share.
And what do you think is gonna be the most common strategy? Do you have any thoughts?
My guess is either drawing the boxes or doing the numbers, repeated addition.
Which one do you think you're gonna start with then?
The
With
drawing. So it moves from more concrete to more abstract.
Okay,
That's what I did the other day too.
did that seem to help?
I think so. I think I saw students using or refining their strategy after we discussed it because they were confused or they weren't sure what the number sentence should look like, and so they went back and kind of fixed what they had done at first.
Yeah, you've kind of almost taught this lesson, so we're already on the revising, like you
Mhm.
know exactly what to do to make it better, which is really helpful to have that background. So, any other thoughts about how students might respond during this sharing time? Like, what about the kids who are on the carpet? How do you think that they'll respond to seeing these?
I think a lot of them will agree with it or be like, yeah, I use that too. That kind of verifies their thinking or their strategy.
Do they talk to each other?
Not a whole lot, only if it's like prompted. Like, I'll ask one
Yeah.
student. I'm planning on trying it today, like asking, how is your strategy different than this student's strategy? Some of them will make comments on each other's, but
That's something I've seen as hard in kindergarten because they are really focused on what they did. They have like a really hard time comparing what is this similar to this or
or I might ask another student in the group what was different between so and so and
Yeah.
strategy, just so I know that other students are like watching and paying attention
Mhm.
instead of just asking the student to share.
Yeah, that's smart. I
Yeah.
think that's a good idea.
But
So teacher is gonna ask someone from the carpet.
yeah,
To note difference. Okay, anything else that you think we should be paying attention to here?
maybe like engagement, but I guess that has to do with discussion, really.
Yeah, and participation in the
Yeah.
discussion.
Yeah.
Slash participation. Yeah, that's definitely something that we should try to make notes about. Okay, and then what happens?
they go back and solve the remaining problems that they haven't gotten to yet. The students who have already done all 3 can try the challenge problem. So I'll probably give them another, I'm not sure what timing, but maybe 3 minutes again,
Yeah,
just to keep it
time's going.
on time, yeah.
And how do you think students are gonna respond during that section?
Some of them might use a different strategy. I'm curious to see what they do, or if they've done something different than they did the other day. And some might just keep using the same strategy if it works, so.
Yeah, so we won't know whether it's the same or different from the other day, but we can check just on their
If
papers
they've
to
done
see
the
if
first
it's
one, is it
different.
different from the last?
Is it a different strategy? Is it different?
And I can look at my work from the other day to see if they've moved on from something or if
Yeah.
they're still using the same.
That'll be interesting to see that for sure. And then you're pulling them back together.
Yep, closure.
Okay, so in the second discussion, how do you think kids are gonna respond?
I think if I ask them if they use a different strategy, some of them might be willing to share. Or if one of them solves the challenge problem, they might be really excited about it, or wanting to show off their math skills. So,
Or share challenge.
and then I'm gonna ask them what they learned, how them trying to talk to their partner.
Any predictions about that?
I'm not sure, I've never seen them ask what did they learn.
Ah, so this is gonna be new.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what they're gonna do.
So Meredith, what do you think we wanna be paying attention to during that last part?
My kids get really off task really quickly during the turn and talk.
Yeah.
So that
Just
they're
talk on
discussing
task.
We usually keep it pretty brief. Or like
Yeah.
me and Mrs. Williams like basically crawl through the carpet
Right.
and like listen in on what they're saying so we can
Yeah.
so maybe the like listening. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I thought two listens in. Okay. Anything we wanna be paying attention to during that second discussion?
If it's the same kid sharing.
Oh,
maybe,
yeah.
Or if there's new students willing to share.
That's a good one. Okay. All right. I think this is a good list of things for us to notice. I'll move that to.
Take a picture of it.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. I'm gonna take a picture too. So, just thinking about being in the room, we actually need to be able to tell Caroline and Sarah, is Sarah Caroline? They're all four coming.
Yep.
Okay, so, we need to, there's a few kind of guidelines for us as observers, which I will touch base with Caroline and Sarah Caroline about. It's really important that we not talk to each other, because whenever we talk to each other, either you or the kids are gonna think, oh, she's talking about us, which is probably true, but it gets the kids distracted and then they're not focused on the learning. And, so not talking to each other is a biggie. And then feel free to lean in to listen, like get up close, but you don't wanna talk with the kids, cause that obviously changes the dynamic. I usually try not to look the kids in the eye, because if we look in the eye, then they think you're available to talk to them. And so sometimes I even like just kind of go sideways or backwards up where I can hear, but it's not like I'm getting in their face so that they think I'm gonna participate in their conversation. And it also just keeps them a little more authentic, I think. And then just a reminder to shift your focus, like keep looking up and around the room and see what's happening so we can make notes of all of that. And the most important thing is to take non-evaluative notes. So don't say good, like good job on whatever, or students did really well, because that doesn't tell us anything. Instead, just really track what they do as much as possible. I think the more details we get in our notes, the richer the conversation will be afterwards, and the more we'll learn from it. All right. Anything that you're wondering about at this point?
I think so.
All right, well, we have plenty of time to get ready. I think I rushed things a little bit just because I needed to be out of the room.
I need to go home.